I think we all knew early on that Billie was capable of great things. And she talks about her grandmother a lot because her grandmother raised her. And I think that she was groomed for, doing important things, that her grandmother recognized that early on and nourished it and nurtured it.
Billie was already, I believe, a young shooting star in our community. As mayor, whenever I had a really tough problem, call went to Billie, can you come down and the mayor would like to get your opinion and advice on how to handle this. Billie would have been an excellent mayor of the city of Toledo, and I'd have been proud to step aside and have her be the mayor of the city of Toledo and be her left, right hand, or middle hand if she needed one. I'm not sure she would, but I would have been happy to do that. Just a very talented, gifted person.
To be able to lead in the style that she has over the years is just a testament to how much she loves what she does, because she makes it look so easy. Billie, I would like to express my appreciation. As I have admired you over the years, you made broken look beautiful and strong look invincible. And I would say I want to be like Billie when I grow up.
There are a lot of leaders in this community. There are a lot of people that do a lot of great things, but Billie Johnson is one of those individuals where you just know that you can trust her, her commitment, her passion for things, and you just want to be a part of it. At least I know that's one of the things that I enjoy most about her as an individual.
She understands that seniors in particular like to walk into a place that is warm and welcoming and accepting, and she knows that senior centers know their neighborhoods best. And so as being someone who leads a senior center, it's been great to know that she always has our back.
I know that any need that would arise, if they needed help, all they'd have to do was contact Area Office on Aging, and if it was not Billie directly, certainly it would be one of her staff. They play no jokes. I mean, I've never seen any staff turn things around as quickly as they do. In fact, the staff has followed in her footsteps, and I know it would only continue to blossom.
I was the representative from Henry County to the Board of Trustees for area office, and I was sitting there not knowing anyone. Mrs. Johnson came up with a beautiful smile on her face, welcomed me as a commissioner, and I just sat in the meeting listening to her as a leader, listening to her as a board member, and I was just impressed with her knowledge, but her compassion for senior citizens. And then also I noticed one of the important things, a leader may not know everything, but a good leader will know that they should put around very good people around them, and Mrs. Johnson did that. And it's just amazed me over the years to watch the staff grow and see Mrs. Johnson move things into the future.
You know, the one thing that became very apparent to me was that Ms. Johnson's knowledge, passion is just unbelievable. And so her leadership skills and her mentoring is very important, because she has mentored so many people, whether it's within the agency or outside the agency, whether they're elected officials. She understands her ability to bring people together and bring the best out of them. And I've always had a saying when I had the opportunity to try and replicate some of Ms. Johnson's traits, and that is if you're able to align your God-given talents and your passion, amazing things happen. And I witnessed that time and time again with Ms. Johnson in her role with the agency.
I think I knew of Billie before I actually met her. You kind of see her at afar, and I was friends with Rhonda. So Rhonda and I would chat, and then I got introduced to her mother, and we were both members of the Toledo chapter of the Lynx.
I started spending more time with Miss Billie, as I like to call her. Once we started working, I started doing some work with young professionals, and so then you got this, okay, I'm admiring her from a distance, and now you're up close and you really understand why, because she's extremely smart, she's extremely thoughtful, she's extremely practical and pragmatic, and she does it all with this level of grace that, in my estimation, is unrivaled in our community, but in most communities.
I think there's just an aura about her that when she speaks with authority. She knows what she's talking about when she speaks, and she's going to give her opinion in a way that is respectful, but you will listen. And that's important. You know that she's serious, and she still has a smile on her face.
One thing that she said to me that still resonates is, John, there is never a substitute for being nice. And like that struck me. And even now, there's a lot of times where we could respond, and I could respond out of a space that's not nice. And she was like, there is never a substitute for being nice. It's almost like she saw things in the future, because oftentimes people tear down, burn bridges, do all of that stuff. And that statement, there is never a substitute for being nice, is not only a memory, but a concept and a philosophy that I cannot shake. It is part of my, being at the present.
When I think about how Ms. Johnson is perceived, both at the local level, at the state level, and even nationally, I see her as one of those people that is elevated as a hero of the industry, a hero as an advocate for older adults, and somebody who has dedicated her life. That is a rare breed, and she is one of those.
I first remember meeting Billie and working with her during a snow emergency in 1999. And together we put together a program. We called it the SOS program, Shoveling Out Seniors. And it was a program that helped send volunteers to the homes of seniors throughout our community, and primarily in my council district, because I was a district council person at the time. So interestingly, all these years later, now almost 25 years later, as mayor, just last year, we sort of resuscitated, we sort of recreated a snow shoveling program for seniors. It works a little differently, but fundamentally it's the same idea. During big snow events, we want to send volunteers out to help seniors in need. And reflecting back on that, it struck me that sometimes life comes full circle. And the same good idea and the same good people that you encounter at one stage of life sometimes are there later also. And Billie is one of those people, one of those steady, consistent forces that you can always count on. And in a changing world, a sometimes scary world, we need people that we can count on, that are trustworthy, that are steady, that are reliable, and who care. And Billie Johnson is all those things.
Well, I have to go right back to calm, cool, and collect. I mean, Johnson is the coolest cat in the room, So when you think about, like I said, Spring Break is one. I mean, we've done Senior Prom, we've done many of the others, and at the end of the day, leadership requires calm head and open thinking. And you can literally see that in her grace and her talk and her walk, as well as her body language. And that sets the tone of the room. I mean, at the end of the day, we can all walk into a chaotic situation, but to have a leader who's calm, cool, and collect, really start to calm your nerve to a certain degree, to where the room will calm, merely for the fact of the influence of the leadership and how they handle the situation. And so these are things that I admired and watching, observing, and internalizing. But it speaks volume and such for us, and the grace that she shows, the smile that she brings, I mean, it's just a glow of light to where it's refreshing, to where at the end of the day, it allows others to want to improve and better themselves.
When we think about her involvement at, a premier art museum in America, the Toledo Museum of Art, and we think about her involvement at the Toledo Museum of Art, it's pretty pronounced. And isn't it wonderful that the individual in charge of aging in our community of senior citizens, isn't it wonderful that she has stepped out of the box to become involved with an arts organization? And so her passion for the aging is really moved right across the street, so to speak, to what she's done with the Toledo Museum of Art, in particular with the Building and Grounds Committee.
The real thing that I'm going to remember and that I want to thank her for is how she's affected our lives. Her mom, my mom, the programs, what we learned from Billie about seniors. Nobody teaches you how to take care of your mom when she's 85. That's just not what they teach in school. And so that's a big thing for me, that she's affected thousands of older people and their caregivers and helping them march through this process. The programs she established and created in many cases were so helpful. The people we've been able to meet through that circle, I just can't say enough about how much she meant to our family. And so for all those little people, I want to thank her.
She has made people understand that if you are lucky and if you live long enough, and my mother used to say this too, you're gonna get to be a senior one day, right? So you really better start paying attention to the way you treat those folks in this community and in this life. It's a gift to be a senior, and the rest of us are failing miserably if we don't understand that.
Where I'm at today without Mrs. Johnson. And I say that in regards to the fact that she gave me an opportunity, and not only gave me an opportunity, but also invested and forced me to grow in areas in which I was uncomfortable in. And she's also always provided that safety net. And she's always been someone that's been accessible throughout my journey. She encouraged me to take the chance, and she encouraged me to pursue my dreams. And one of the things which she said is that I would always have a home if necessary, but she somewhat pushed me out of the nest. And I am so thankful and so appreciative that she instilled, or she provided me that backdrop and gave me that confidence to move forward. And just her words of wisdoms and the lessons in which I was able to receive from her, I continue to apply them today in my own daily walk and my daily opportunities to lead an organization.
It's really hard to imagine what we're going to do when you're no longer there. Tell me, who in the world am I going to call? But I want to thank you for your years of dedicated service as a true leader with a caring heart and spirit, and who has been a strategic innovator who made very, very wise decisions. Throughout your career, you have been a strong and effective advocate who always put the interest of older individuals first, and yet you did so with such grace and such credibility that it was always hard to question you, and certainly hard to say no to you.
Billie, congratulations on your retirement. What you have done at the Area Office on Aging is simply extraordinary. You're not just a leader in this community, you're a leader nationally, and it has been a privilege to work with you over the past decade at the Toledo Museum of Art, where you were on the board before I ever arrived, but helped shepherd into existence our Buildings and Grounds Committee, acting as vice chair, working so closely with me and helping us manage through the museum place acquisition at every turn, providing the perfect blend of strategic and tactical insight, but always with a grace and charm which no one can match. You are a gem. Congratulations on this next chapter, and thank you for everything you have done for seniors, for senior care, for our community, for the museum, and for our country.